We are the one, the light in the dark. One heart, one world, one spark. We are the one, together we rise. One dream, one voice, one sky.
Welcome to Women Empowered Across the World. I am the co-facilitator of this delightful group, of which Carol Witt is not here today. So I am just so excited to be able to present to you Emily, and that will be Emily Crowder or Crowder. And she is going to enlighten us to be able to share her story so that we can learn from her past and be able to learn how we can work together in collaboration, which is obviously the most important part. And we have with us our hostesses, Pat Tracy, who is from Texas, and she brings all kinds of insight into women's challenges and their health issues and all different kinds of things. And she comes from Texas. And then we have Megan Deers, who is in South Africa. And she has a host of things she's working with, which is mostly literacy and youth and education. And then we have Chi Chi. I'm sorry, I'm calling you Chi Chi because that's who you are to me, Chenere Jack, who is in California and the illustrious town of Patterson, where nobody knows where it is. And anyhow, she works in the Black Chamber of Commerce that she created, as well
Cool.
as in Nigeria with women in various ways. So we have a cast of people very eager to hear all about you, Emily. So go ahead and tell us a little bit about the Emily, please. Oh, and I'm
Well,
Jackie Zaccoli, in case anybody cares. Go ahead, Emily.
thanks, Jackie. And thank you all so much for having me. It is an illustrious panel, and I'm delighted to be here with you all. So, as you said, I'm Emily Crowder, and I can start with my title and my organization because every all roads lead ultimately for me to that identity. So, I am the executive director at Global Camps Africa, which is an organization that focuses primarily on vulnerable children and youth in South Africa, but we've worked all over sub-Saharan Africa. The organization has been around for 23 years. We've served more than 75,000 vulnerable children and youth in that time. And the goal is to engage young people from township communities and other underserved communities in education and life skills development, particularly around health education. And so when we were founded many years ago, it was really about trying to figure out how we could use the intervention that we know best, which is sort of the Western style camp intervention, to connect with kids in South Africa where the HIV and AIDS epidemic was such a threat to their health and well-being and futures, and help empower those young people to protect themselves from HIV infection and other health challenges. And over time, what that program has grown into is something much more holistic, using, again, the same vehicle that we know connects with children, right? Experiential learning and getting out there and getting your hands dirty and trying new things and overcoming your fears is a really great way for children to learn and grow. And so my role as executive director sits here in the United States. So I'm based in Virginia. I started 17 years ago in Washington, D.C. with this organization, and have been on the journey with this mission ever since then. So I'm back in Lynchburg, Virginia, which is my hometown. And I feel very lucky that the organization has given me the opportunity to lead from here, where I'm very much rooted. My family is here. My husband's family is here. And so it's important to us to be able to connect with our roots here, serve into the community here, and still be able to do the mission of Global Camps Africa, which has turned out to be my life's work. And so here I am in Lynchburg, Virginia, working with my colleagues in South Africa and a wonderful board of directors that's international, to do this program that's essentially 8,000 miles away. And in order to be able to do that, it's been a really wonderful experience learning how to build a team, and to connect together, and stay very mission oriented and very much in relationship with each other from such a great distance. I'm only really on the ground in South Africa now, just about twice a year for just a couple or 3 weeks at a time. And so figuring out how to lead an organization that is sort of spread all over the place has been a great challenge for me. But it all comes from being rooted in my home, and in my community here, and being able to feel really strongly connected and supported in that way to be able to do this work on a global level. My background, from the time that I was little teeny, and in fact, you could probably, if I dug up an old bin of my, school things, you could probably read an essay that I wrote in high school about how I wanted to go into international development work. And so my background, my history, my passion, my love, my life's purpose is all about taking the opportunities that we have here, the privilege, the richness of community that we have here, figuring out how to export the best parts of that into communities that are in need, at risk, particularly young children. I worked, before I came to Global Camps Africa, I was at the Elizabeth Glaser Pediatric AIDS Foundation, where I worked on the clinical side of preventing mother-to-child transmission of HIV from a pregnant mother to her child. And I really fell in love with the work of working with mothers and children, and learning what the needs are in communities where they are not well served, and figuring out how we can take what we have, the tools that we have, the education, the opportunity, the resources that we have, and offer them in a context like the ones that we're working in South Africa. And a great learning of that experience so far for me has been understanding that the common experience that women and children have around the world, and the common experience of what it means to be a child, is so universal. And in every context I've worked in, Uganda, Kenya, Rwanda, Tanzania, South Africa, all those places where I've worked, the immediate connection that is possible to be made with a woman and a mother is just really powerful, and has turned out to be something that has driven a lot of the work that we do. So my history and background is all kind of leading to where I am now. I went to James Madison University in Virginia for my undergraduate degree in political science and international affairs. And then I went to work and had an amazing experience traveling all over sub-Saharan Africa with my mentor leader, whose name is Pam Barnes. And she really unlocked for me the opportunity, the vision for myself in this field. I wrote my resume that I sent into Elizabeth Glaser Pediatric AIDS Foundation at the time when I was looking for a job there. I sent my resume to be like an assistant to the secretary who was doing fundraising in that organization, because I thought, well, I have a little bit of experience in fundraising, and so maybe they'll let me in the door, if I offer, this little bit of intelligence and experience and passion that I have, maybe they'll let me come and serve the coffee. was really what that was really how I saw myself. And Pam Barnes, who was the president and CEO of Elizabeth Glaser at the time, when I met her, she was like, you come here. And she mentored me and taught me and took me everywhere with her. I worked the hardest I think I've ever worked in my life during those years, but it was so enriching and rewarding and empowering because she let me see myself in those boardrooms, in those program experiences, in those, country settings. I learned that I could work from anywhere, that if, I could take a flight overnight, get off the plane, get on out on the dirt runway, and if I could get a hot spot, I could sit down in the dirt in the Ugandan forest and get to work. And she taught me so much about what it means to outperform people's expectations of you. And I think that's been probably the most powerful experience of my life, was being mentored by someone who really cared and really saw some potential in me. And so I try to do the same thing in the work that I do now, both through the programs that we create and deliver at Global Campus Africa, which includes a young women's empowerment sort of program that's specifically directed to young women and girls, but also in the work that I do, bringing, training nonprofit boards and training potential board members, young women who want to lead in nonprofit spaces, but have never seen themselves in those rooms, have never been represented, have never been supported. They've been asked to get the coffee, but they've never been asked to read the financials. And so training young women to do that is really has been really important to me and is a big part of my story. And so I am a mom. I have two wonderful boys, and they are coming with me to South Africa in September. 16 years old and 12 years old. They're going to come and visit my program and get to know
Beautiful.
some of the staff and the folks who have been so much a part of my life. So I'm really looking forward to that. And I think that is probably the story of me.
Oh my gosh. Are we impressed or
Are you
what?
happy? Are you happy, Jackie?
Megan, where have you been hiding this woman?
I heard you
This
sighing in
is
the back.
ridiculous. I am upset with you. Why is it taking this long to get her here? What the fudge is happening? I don't understand. I'm sorry. Emily, you have no clue what you have opened up.
Bandara box.
I hope you're ready.
I'm ready. I'm so excited. I can't wait to see.
Oh my gosh, you are so completely aligned with everything that we're doing. Absolutely, completely aligned. I want to know all about what your camps are doing, how they are doing it, all of that, because that's what I want for my CBOs that are all over Africa. And starting in September, well, my Global Impact Network that I alluded to, kind of, sort of, that we meet every Tuesday with the CBOs from, it's about 30 different groups. And I give them educational, the pillars are education and wellness and sustainability and employment. And so I give them speakers for those so that they can have their own little projects. So my point of that is June, we're spotlighting those people. Otherwise, we would have had speakers. We're taking a break. And then September, I guess I'm Italian, aren't I? And then September, I just noticed my hands are going crazy. September, I'm going to be giving them more of a foundational look at where they're going, because the threads between all of them, and you could tell me all the threads, they're exactly the same as my 4 pillars. They have those challenges with everything that they're doing. However, I think from what I'm hearing, their biggest challenge is to be able to be self-sustainable. It really is. I mean, the water and the sanitary napkins and all of that stuff is life important, but sustainability, so they can keep doing it, is most important. So in September, I already have 2, possibly 3 people. I want to have the 4 weeks, the 4 times in September to really give them a much stronger foundation so that they can look and say, I kind of screwed it up. Here we go. So if you're interested, I would love to have you as one of the speakers in September. And so that would be my selfish look at what I want to do with you, at least.
I would love to do that.
At
That
least.
sounds fantastic. Yeah, absolutely. No, that
Okay,
sounds
that
terrific.
would be perfect, because you are doing exactly what I want us to do in all those countries. That's bringing them those resources, helping them to be self-sustainable. They don't want to be a charity. They
No,
don't.
that's
They want to
exactly
have their own lives, and they have so much available, so much richness within their cultures. It's just learning how.
right.
So, do we have any questions, ladies?
I'm ready. I am just
You're ready? Just think of what she can do in Nigeria. If she were to maybe she has a group in Nigeria. Do you?
yes.
We don't actually have a group in Nigeria.
That's even better.
Yes.
We're moving to that direction. Emily, thank you so much for coming this morning. And absolutely, I'm excited for the boys heading to Africa. I am always talking to children here, letting them know that the best gift you can ever give yourself is to just find a footing, to just land in the motherland, as we call it, because it does it does something to you, because you get to see people who appreciate and show gratitude, especially children who will
True.
give anything for education. So, and for me, being able to have the best of two worlds here in the United States as well as Africa, and traveling around, it's just something that it just does a lot in my spirit. So seeing you, just expressing your feelings, and also being able to have a mentor that empowered you, because sometimes what happens is nobody sees us, right? So it takes one person
Yes.
to see, to be able to push you forward. So that is something that at least a lot of us need. But for me right now, my question to you is, when we talk about nonprofit, because I'm listening to you and I'm doing my water project, which right now I'm working on doing solar system to help to power the stations that I already have, while I'm working towards building more. So I would like to ask you, when you are hiring those board members in the room, because most people go into nonprofit without really understanding what nonprofit is all about. It's about passion and about giving. And I'm always trying to explain to people, this is you. It's not about sitting at the table. It's about having the passion and the compassion to be able to lead others into that direction. How would you advise me? Because I'm really stuck, especially sourcing for fund in that water project.
Yeah.
Because I'm telling you, when the kids come and they get the water, I mean, there's just the life in them. It's a necessity, right?
Of course.
Something that we take for granted. So how do we go ahead and get more people, like a mustard seed, just to have that same passion to say, I'm ready to give it a try and step forward?
Yeah, it's a great question. So I do think that having a great board is the backbone of all of our goals, right? It's fundraising, it's sustainability, it's the fundamental foundation of all that we're trying to do here. And so it's really difficult to imagine being successful without a great board. So my initial answer to you is, to spend some time yourself. And if you have a team, an internal staff team or a volunteer team of people who are your trusted, sort of compadres in this work, sit down together and map out, what are the needs of the organization? What are the skills and talents that, if we had them, would move us forward faster, accelerate our ability to deliver the mission? If we had people who had this set of skills and this set of skills, and yes, we all wish that we knew Oprah. If you do, will you please give her my phone number, because I would really like to talk to her. But we don't all know people who can just stroke millions of dollars worth of checks and support us. And really, honestly, to the point of sustainability, that's not what we need. We need resources and funding, but what we really need is skills and talent and passion, and people who are willing to show up to do the job. So I would say first, sort of give yourself a landscape scan, understand what your organization is doing now and what the missing pieces might be now, and then just sort of cast that vision out if you can, a year, 2 years, 3 years. Think about what those future needs might be, because recruiting board members sometimes can take a little while, especially if you think they're going to be a great one. And then once you have identified those needs, I would turn to your network, which obviously, Chichi, you've got a wonderful network, and the network of the people who are already sort of connected to your organization, and start asking people to surface names so that you can build relationships and connect with people who meet the identified needs of your organization now and the projected needs for you in the next few years. Start building those relationships. And I would really encourage us all to think about board building, board capacity building, and board recruitment as a middle and long-term project. It's not a question of who can I ask, what 3 people can I ask today so that I can have warm bodies at the next meeting. I don't think that serves us well. I think it's worth spending time investing in understanding the organization's needs and the specific individuals who have the skills we need, and making those matches and building those relationships. And then you make the board ask, right? It's not, the board ask is, in my opinion, should not be the first conversation, right? You're learning about people, you're understanding their skills and talents, their capacity. Even somebody who is really, really skilled in an area that you might need support in, and really passionate about the work that you want to do, may not be able to meet the needs of the organizations at the board level because they just don't have the capacity. And we need to hear people when they tell us that. If the first question that a board candidate asks you is, how much time is this going to take? Or how many times do you meet a year? Then I would just pause and ask, maybe, is this the right fit? Are we sure? Because I really want us to be honest about capacity and skills of board members. So that would be sort of my first advice to you, is like, do that skills assessment, that needs assessment, and then start mining your networks to find out who can introduce me to someone who might be a match for this. And then once you get those folks on board, I cannot say this enough. I want to put it on my tombstone. Train them, give them training. Even if they've been board members in some other organization, we're level setting and setting expectations for what it means to perform as an excellent board member in this organization. So train them and keep training them, is my advice. And thank you for that great question. Thank you, Chichi.
Thank you. Great answer. Thank you.
Yeah, that gives you a really good idea where she's coming from. That's great. Megan, go ahead.
Thank you very much. So Emily, thank you so much for joining us today and sharing your story with us. I love the fact that you brought up the mentorship so strongly, and Chichi mentioned it as well. And as you will probably remember in my space, the mentorship and coaching is a really big part of what we do at the Y Collab with our youth here. So from a point of mentorship and the experience that you've had and just shared with us, what do you have to say to people watching us right now, especially the young ladies, especially the ladies that are in a space where they know they've outgrown this space, they need to take the next step and they're not quite sure? And from our perspective, we would know mentorship is probably a good route for them to take right now. What would you give them as pointers to say, this is the point where you know that you need to find yourself a mentor, that you need to start looking in that direction if they've not had one before?
That's a great question, Meg. Thank you for that question. And I so admire the work you do at Y Collab, and I just want to give that a big shout out, because what you do is really remarkable.
Thank you.
Sure. I have a little bit of a personal story. Is that okay? Can I take a minute for just a personal story?
You have about a minute.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So I think I believed growing up so I grew up in the American South, and there's this sort of mythology around Southern women in the American South. And there are 2 sides of that coin, I think. But growing up, I really think I was steeped in the mythology of women being sort of a tribe, and we all were sort of in it together. And we were, going to be the ones to deliver the casserole when the baby's born, and we're going to be there to pick you up when you're falling, and we're going to, help you along the way. So in my first job after college, I experienced the shock of being totally undermined and attacked by a fellow woman in my workplace. And I mean, it was so, I just, naive, I guess, but I was so shocked by the idea that women would be tearing each other down to get ahead, because that's what they thought they had to do in those organizations, right? They thought that was the move. Yes. And I was very scarred and sort of damaged by that experience. It was just so not what I was expecting to experience in the tribe of working women. And so to have a mentor like Pam later in my career who opened my eyes to the real truth of women helping women, and how effective that could be, and that it is reality, it can be real, but you have to do it with intention. You have to make a choice. What kind of person, woman, leader, collaborator, example do I want to be? Who am I? And who do I want to be? And you identify yourself as a mentor, right? You identify yourself as a mentor. And I think so when I think about the question of how do you know when you need a mentor, I would say we all do all the time. We all can grow. We all can learn. There are things we want to do better. There are more creative ways of doing what we're doing that we can learn from other people that will help our organizations and our missions deliver, at a better quality or a different scale. So I think we all have mentorship sort of as a need. What I would say is that identifying within yourself the desire to reach a hand back and help the next one, when you identify that desire within yourself, act on it. And that will be the spark that helps you to realize that also I want someone to reach a hand to me, and I want to look for someone who can give what I know I need that I'm giving now to someone else, right? So it's a chain. And I don't think that I've been to conferences where I've heard people talk about your number one goal, the number one thing you need to advance your career is a mentor. Like, mentor at any cost. Go find that, the highest level you can find someone who's going to mentor you, and that person will be your meal ticket or whatever. And I think that is the absolute wrong way to think about mentorship. I think thinking of mentorship as a chain, as a give and a get, creates real relationship and real community. And then suddenly the network opens up to you. So I would say to those women who might be listening to us now who are wondering about mentorship and is it time, the answer is yes, it's time. And I would encourage you to start by looking around for someone who you could help in that way.
Can I quickly say something to that, because that touches my core. See what you said, most women like to tear each other down instead of pulling them up. And I think, like you said, mentorship is a link, because when someone pour into you, you have to pour into someone else. In other, as women, to be women empowered. Look at our name, Women Empowered Across the World. And that's what this is so passionate that we're doing this, because we have to be able to hold a sister's hand and say, you know what, I got you. I really do have you, and I'm willing to support you. And I really, really love that. So thank you. And thank you, Megan, for bringing that up, because that is the elephant in the room always. And we have to tackle it in order to be successful. And again, passion is important, because sometimes people say, well, somebody asked me to do this, to do that. But what I always ask them, what do you want to do? Because when you have passion for something, then you can become wherever you want to be. So thank you for asking that question.
I agree totally.
I think
I always say I'm not getting out of bed if there's no passion involved, right? Not getting out of bed. You don't see the passion, not going to bother. That's the point I've got into. So I agree with that completely.
And there are so many of us that are A-type personalities. We're going to go out there and do it. Let's just go out and do it. Though, how many are saying, let's do it with somebody else. Let's
Mhm.
have more do it. I think everyone should have some sort of, as Carol and I have said, she said this many times in YEA. She says, everybody needs a partner. Carol and I are partners. I'm a partner with Chi-Chi. I'm a partner with Megan and with Pat. We at different levels of engagement, and I know what Chi is up to. I know kind of what, so we get involved in a certain way, and that's what makes us strong. That's what really brings what it is. It's the people you surround yourself with. That's the answer. It's always the 5 people you surround yourself with. Are they supportive? Are they tearing you down? Are they too critical? Are they the devil's advocate to the degree that you're not going anywhere? It's looking at those people. You brought up some wonderful things, Emily, and I am so grateful that you are here. It looks like everyone's put their contact information in the chat, so I am delighted to have that. And I think our hostesses have added a lot to the dimensions of what you and I are going to do together, Emily. A lot of what we're going to do together.
I'm excited. I hope we'll stay in
Oh
close.
my, hold on to the roller coaster, because I'm going to take you for a ride. So yeah, we're going to have a lot of fun. So that implies to our people listening to this wonderful group that we have called Women Empowered Across the World podcast. What we are is a reflection of the luxury that we have of globally reaching women in every part of the world. So please subscribe to our channel on YouTube. Please decide. What?
I think Pat has a hand up.
Oh, she does. I'm sorry. Pat, go ahead.
That's okay. It wasn't Emily. I was just inspired and impressed by the compassion I could just feel within you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And I admire the fact that you're taking your children over with you the next time in September.
So good. That's good.
One of the things that our our head person, I guess you'd say, I don't know, Women Empowered, is Carol Witt is into not only the her big thing is youth empowerment program. And I mean, and to think that you're taking your children over too, I think that's a perfect fit.
Perfect.
Oh, I'm
They need
excited.
to
Thank
learn.
you, Pat.
That's so good. It'll change their lives completely.
Oh,
There's no
absolutely.
question. Have they been before?
So William, my 12-year-old, I went when I was 8 months pregnant with him, and he still swears that that the reason he's such a good dancer is because our camp counselors were drumming on my giant pregnant belly while he was in it, and he swears that that's where he got all his rhythm from. So he says, if you ask him, he would say he's
Yeah, I've been there.
Oh, that's
I've been
brilliant.
there. Beautiful, beautiful. Well, thank you all so much for listening, and we are so delighted to share Emily to the world and to begin her new world and our new world of actually working together at a level that is so exciting, so exciting. So do join us on our, and you have a voice, you have a background. I don't care what you think about what your background is. We need to hear it. We need your voice because it's all about thriving. So let's thrive together. Thank you so much, all of you.
Thank you, everyone.
There's no divide, peace and love on every side. No